just entered into 2025, and while I don't want to spoil it for you, I feel like I should give you a heads up that nothing is going to go as planned this year.
This is insane.
You'll feel disappointed at times and wonder if hoping and dreaming is hurting you more than it helps. You're going to have to rely on other people more than ever before, for encouragement, prayers, and many times for a roof over your head. Crazy to think about, right? But don't let that freak you out. Yes, you're going to move 4 times, find yourself in a different country, and be further from understanding than ever before. But you're also going to find yourself in moments that you've dreamed of without knowing if they'd ever come to pass. One such as marrying your soulmate and seeing the world together, hugging a cow on top of the Swiss Alps, and seeing your best friend say yes to the love of her life. Baking bread with 3 generations of women in your family, and worshiping in the languages of other nations. If ever you begin to doubt, open to Psalm 23 and let your Father speak. He's going to sustain you through every valley and be with you on every mountaintop, and you'll climb many this year. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You're going to be amazed. Now to the woman you are now on December 31st, 2025. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really excited for the beginning of this new year, bringing you fresh hope and inspiration. Although there are some parts of yourself you felt went dormant this year, you are reminded just this morning that seeds can stay dormant for a really long time and still bloom and flourish at the right time. Your soul in all its color, all its joy, and all its creativity is stretching out again, asking you to not worry about the unknown, not to preoccupy your mind with the fears that come with growing up. Instead, seek anything and everything that makes you feel full of love, joy, peace, hope, and things like these. Wherever this year takes you, and I have absolutely no idea where it's going to take you, keep chasing the sunset, slowly sipping your coffee, and doing things that scare you. You weren't made for an ordinary life, so open your eyes and go see what miracles God is capable of.
Wow.
Hi guys, welcome back. If you've been watching my videos for some time, if you're new here, my name is Ashley. I started vlogging at the beginning of this year because I knew it was gonna be a crazy life, honestly. And now we're a year and like 20 vlogs later, I still have no idea what to expect for 2026. But I love New Year's. It might be one of my favorite holidays because it seems like a time when everybody is kind of in the same position of resetting and setting vision, and that just is really exciting to me. So I thought I would make a video of a couple of things that I'm doing this year to cast vision for 2026, to find closure from 2025, and to really step into the new year like feeling super confident, super excited, and super full of hope and like expectancy. So the first thing, which is what I just read, is writing a letter to myself at the beginning of last year, and then writing a new letter for myself at the beginning of this year. I've never done that before, so it was really nice to just kind of think about who I was at the beginning of last year and write a letter to her. And then also thinking about reading the letter that I just wrote to myself at the end of next year is gonna be super cool. So I'm hoping that that's a tradition that I just keep up every year. And then the other thing that I do every year, this is like a non-negotiable for me, and every year I do it, I feel like I expand on it a little bit more. I want to look together at my board from last year, talk about the things that happened, the things that didn't happen, see how well I predicted my year, and like what things I actually followed through in. And then I also want to show you guys my 2026 vision board and just kind of talk about how I do that. This year, like I said, I did more for that than I've ever done before. So I'm really excited, and I feel like I'm in a really good place going into the new year. But let's start with the 2025 vision board. Starting with the word that I chose last year, I chose the word trust, and I remember when that word came to mind, I did not want to write it down. I don't know why, at the time it felt like a negative word. I should already be at a level of faith where trusting comes easy. There was also things that I was like grasping on so tightly. I don't want to have to let go of these things and like trust something else. So I just remember being super hesitant to put this word down. But looking back at it now, like that was such a God-given word because oh my gosh, was my trust like challenged this year. So the first page of my vision board was like my faith-based part of my vision board, and some of the goals that I put were seeking God's face in the quiet, wanting my prayer life to blossom, looking forward to making new friends and trusting God with new communities, being faithful with my podcast, and having a beautiful friendship with Jesus where religion goes out the window and a true love and companionship forms. Yeah, I already feel like reviewing this vision board is going to be so weird because there's so much that since I've already made my 2026 board, I know I also put this year, which means I like didn't accomplish them to the level that I would have wanted to in 2025. So this year was the first time that I have like moved churches and moved places that many times, or really at all. Like most of my disciple life has been in Florida. Showed me so much about his kingdom and about the family that he's given to me like all around the world. I think that was the biggest thing in my faith that was aligned with my vision board. Next up was my relationship with Orion. This one's so funny because we have like wedding pictures on here. At the time I made my vision board last year, I was literally thinking about planning a wedding, like a whole celebration celebration and ceremony and everything. And we ended up doing this like super sweet, almost elopement style, family only wedding in Florida. 12 people under a tree in my pastor's neighborhood. Like, it was absolutely perfect, but it was definitely not what I expected. I thought that we were gonna get married, move in together, and like have one singular home and place that we would be for the rest of the year. But we have had many homes, which has been a wild way to live our lives, especially in the first year of marriage. We have really worked on like stewarding a home together and me just like stepping into the qualities of being a wife and all the things that that brings. And one thing I actually put last year, I'm excited to see where life takes us, not just to live, but also to travel and adventure. And I want our relationship to always hold space for adventuring. And that's super sweet to read because we went a lot of places this year and went on a lot of adventures. So I do feel like God gave me my adventure partner for life, and that's incredible. The next category of things that I had like a little collage for last year was personal goals and vision. This time last year, I was really pursuing a quiet life because I was so burnt out. I think I did a really good job of like actually making myself more available and not just like crowding my schedule with things to do. And then one thing I put on here was that I wanted to create in new ways this year, maybe watercolor or painting, I don't know, just slower ways. I finally learned ceramics. That is a huge bucket list item for me, and it was a really fun thing to do. When we first moved to North Carolina, I found a studio that offered classes, an open studio, and that was like such a highlight for me this year. The last collage that I did on my vision board last year was like a travel vision board. For my honeymoon, I thought we were gonna go somewhere tropical. We ended up going to Switzerland. I had a trip already planned to Tampa and then knew I would be coming back to West Palm in the summer. Both of those things were on there. Both of those I did. I said that I wanted to go to Virginia because I always go there on a fall trip to visit my best friend Emma. And while we didn't do that this year, I did go in the summer when she got engaged. I did go to Puerto Rico the week before we got married. Orion got called up to play soccer for the national team, and me and two of my best friends went out to Puerto Rico and spent like 5 days there. So that was incredible. And then I also had Charleston, South Carolina and New York. We went to Charleston. I went there on my way up, moving to North Carolina. And then New York is really the only thing besides the tropical honeymoon idea that we didn't do. So that's my 2025 board. Definitely funny to look back through it, especially after creating this and realizing that there's things that I still have goals set for this year. But this year, how I did my vision board, last year my word was trust, and this year my word is seek. Word of the year is kind of the umbrella that I put everything in my vision board underneath. And then this year I also wrote down 25 of my favorite memories from 2025. I won't go through all of these, but that was a really cool way to look back on the previous year and then start thinking about some things that I could get excited for in 2026. So next year I'll do 26 of my favorite memories from 2026, and the number will just keep growing the older that I get. So started again with my faith board, have a couple of pictures. So my hope for 2026 is just to find joy in seeking God again. So right now, like, we're living in Florida and I want to take advantage of being by the ocean and spending time with God outside as much as possible. I also am doing the Bible recap plan by Tara Lee Cobble, and I want to finish that this year. And then the next board, last year it was just relationship, but this year it's marriage. So a couple of things I have on here are cooking together, new recipes, and soft memories at home, holding on to each other through the unknown. Hopefully this year, having a space together and learning how to steward a home for a longer period of time, traveling to new places, and then keeping up with our Bible reading and praying more together. Okay, next category I did was like a self vision board again. So the biggest thing going into 2026 that I want to find confidence in is just my consistency. I just want to show up consistently, like not perfectly, not at 110% at all times, doing the best I can every day. A random one is working from home. I look like a bum so much. So I want to try to dress cute more often and look more put together when I'm working from home. I want to keep lifting and getting stronger and excited for the gym. I want to make more time doing things that make me feel alive and also being okay doing those things alone. And then I want to get up earlier and set up my days before I open my laptop. And then I always want to keep creating. I want to keep getting more creative with vlogs. I want to keep trying different mediums of art, and yeah, just keep being as creative as possible. Okay, next board I did, which is different than last year, I did a career board. Going into last year, I didn't really know like what my job was really going to look like because it was my first season with the Nike circuit. But now that I've been through a season, I kind of know what to expect, and I feel like I'm better able to like cast vision and set goals for myself. So from a Nike circuit perspective, I want to continue to get creative and not just like going through the motions and completing tasks, but like really working the creative side of my brain in marketing. I want like my heart and soul to be in everything that I do. So that's really important to me in my job. And then I used to run a business called Souljoy, and that business is still like my freelance business, but I don't use it and I don't do a ton of it anymore. So I used to sell merch, I used to have a podcast. Technically, like, this vlog is like a Souljoy vlog, but last year when I was trying to really slow down, I just kind of like shut down everything all at once. I would really love for my website to be my portfolio. I would love to do like a little rebrand. I would love to get more consistent on posting on Souljoy Creates, which is like my freelance business Instagram. But yeah, I want to redo my website, make a portfolio, and then be more consistent on social media on Souljoy. The next board that I had was travel ideas. Emphasis on ideas because I quite literally have no idea where I'm gonna be. But I think it would be awesome to go to Hawaii for New Year's. My best friend lives there and I've never visited her. I don't know how I've not been, but I actually wanna start saving up for that. And I think that would be a really fun trip if I can make it happen. One of my other best friends is thinking about doing a mission trip in Croatia, and she would be there for like 8 or 9 months, I think. So if she goes out there, I definitely wanna visit Croatia. I'm going to St. Pete for a bachelorette party, Outer Banks for a wedding, and then I would love to go back to Puerto Rico. Anytime that I've gone to Puerto Rico, I've gone on my own, but I haven't been able to go with Orion. So I think it would be really awesome to like go and be there and enjoy it with him, instead of like him being there for soccer and me being there to watch him play soccer. In 2025, we went on this incredible Swiss Alps hike, and I feel like every year moving forward, I want to prioritize one epic hike. So some sort of hiking trip, some sort of adventure trip, or maybe it's like tagged onto a trip that I'm already making, but I want to go on a hike that I'm like, that was so epic. And then, yeah, I finished my vision board with 2 slides. One was biggest dreams, and then the next was tangible goals. So my biggest dreams are moving somewhere new with Orion that we can be for a large portion of this year. I want to finish reading the whole Bible, and I actually want to start writing the Bible afterwards. So like from cover to cover, like handwriting it in a journal. I want to visit a new country and experience new culture. And then I want to create vlogs more consistently and more creatively. And then my tangible goals are finalizing a new website and portfolio by July. I want to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching, please subscribe. And then I want to do 5 pro bono, like free content shoots for small businesses that I can put in my portfolio. But yeah, that's my vision board. And I don't know how well I did at explaining like how I go about it. Maybe if you haven't made a vision board, you're inspired to make one. I'm also this weekend doing like a vision board party with some of my friends. So we're gonna like screencast things to the TV and like talk about all of this as well. And I think I'm gonna vlog this weekend. So that will be on my YouTube next week probably. But yeah, I'm literally sitting on the beach watching the last sunset of 2025 and I'm very hopeful for 2026. So thanks for watching and Happy New Year.